it seems like yesterday. I was 18 years old, getting beer underage, world in the palm of my hands. I knew everything. And I even remember being younger and like scoffing at some of the older guys that I thought were like, losers or should be ahead in life. Or, oh, look at that guy, he got divorced. He must be a bad man, or he must be a bad partner, or whatever. You think the worst. Or you see someone get fired from a job and you think, oh, he must have been drinking. You always think the worst. You think, oh, he must have screwed that up. And then when you start going ahead and you start to get past like 25, even into your 20s, I mean, this varies. But as you start living life, then things start happening. And then you start to think of these guys from your past and you're like, man, I wonder if this is what so and so went through. I wonder if you start to relate to these people over time. And the one thing that's actually saved me, believe it or not, through all these years, I'm a musician my whole life. I've been in clubs and bars around all kinds of different characters. And the fact that I made it to 45 years old with no unplanned pregnancies and no, I have a divorce behind me, which went as well as it could have went. It really is. It really did. So I feel like I got lucky there for sure. Everything's that we have no children, of course. I don't have any children yet. But yeah, I used to always, even when I was younger, I still would always cling on to the old guys, no matter what they were saying. Even the losers, even the ones that we thought were, oh man, he's trouble. As soon as they started talking, and you could see the other guys around me too, my buddies and that. My buddy's brother would start talking, or my dad would start talking, or my stepdad, whoever it is. If you got something good, a good story, I hate to say a good story like that, but a good advice is a good story. A lot of times, old guys, that's what we do. We love stories. We give our advice in the form of a story so you remember it. And that's what it sinks in. That's what makes it stick, hopefully. So that's what I'm trying to impart on the young men who want the help. Or guys my age, or just someone to relate to. Whoever wants the help is here. And if this little, my stories make you laugh and help you relate, then I did my job. I think everyone should have a YouTube channel, record what you feel comfortable, but share something, because that's what we're here for. This life isn't ours, like this, everything, we don't own none of this. So share it, maybe you can help someone. I mean, how many times have you been helped by someone on YouTube? I know I have plenty of times. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I put the guitar down and I figured, there's bigger, to say problems, but there's more important, more crucial help needed in other areas than guitar, in my opinion. And I'm gonna keep playing in the videos, and maybe one day I will do a channel if I get inspired to teach again. But I feel like I need to teach other lessons. That's where I'm going with this. Man, when I see an old guy with an Iron Maiden shirt giving some like real good advice, especially if it's a successful guy or a guy that you could tell like he went through some things, but he came out pretty good and he's got a good job and he's smart. If you notice, the Iron Maiden fans usually a little more intelligent, a little more sophisticated, among other bands too. I'm just using this Iron Maiden for reference, of course. But man, if you hear an older guy with an Iron Maiden shirt giving some advice, it's worth listening, because these stories come back when you start living these things. And I'm telling you, if you know how to read a situation, I'm not saying be afraid and don't do anything and don't date any women, don't take any, risks or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. But when you're proceeding with caution and now you have these little bits of, these little nuggets of information in your mind from when you're having a beer with so-and-so and you're like, man, I remember when. Coworkers are great for this. You gotta be careful. But when some of these older guys, man, when I was a janitor for a while at a high school, and there were a bunch of all the older guys there, just full of information, whether it's fixing something or life advice or marriage advice. And sometimes, if you felt comfortable, you could bounce things off of these people. And man, it's some of the best advice I've ever got in my life. And it's why I'm doing this and hoping I could spring it forward in my older years here. So like there was a guy, Gary, there was a guy, Trapper. Man, when they spoke, I just shut up and listened. And man, I mean, I laughed my ass off so many times. I mean, the stories, you wouldn't believe some of these stories. Unbelievable. You could not make this stuff up. This is true life. But those things stick with you. Or, if you're having a bad day and you're like, and you kind of spout out, yeah, you know, the girlfriend or whatever, and you're like, oh, you know, it always starts with jokes. Jay's got having problems. You know, they always make a playful joke or something. But if you give a little, I mean, you got to proceed with caution. But I'm telling you, if you feel comfortable in front of some of these older heads, they call them, I'm telling you, bounce things off of these guys. They are just treasure troves of information. They've been there, they've done that, and they're going to give it to you 100% straight. I think it doesn't hurt just to hear a good old man telling some stories. I watch. I think about other things that I love on YouTube. It's usually older guys telling stories in some sort of form. You know, everything's storytelling. You know, we all got a story to tell. We all got things to share. But the story today isn't really a specific one. It's just an old Polish man here who survived a lot. And I mean, I'm feeling great. I'm living the best life ever. And with age comes, hopefully, with the age and the knowledge, hopefully comes more peace because you know, if you're always scared and always, you got to have faith that you can only control so much. But you can steer these things, you know, let some of these older guys and these older stories, let those stories stick in your head. You younger guys start living life, you're going to see, like, as these things pop up, hopefully you can say, whoa, I heard on Pacemaker Jay's channel. I can't believe I'm calling myself Pacemaker Jay. On Jay's channel, yeah, I remember he was talking about this. Man, maybe I should be careful with this one. Yeah, she seems like trouble, but maybe I should just, whatever the situation is. And now listen, everyone's going to make mistakes, okay? Life's not perfect. It's how you learn. But hopefully, my hope is that you younger guys don't fall into some of these traps that can really, really set you back like decades. Listen to me. There are tons of women out there, okay? Don't have this fear of missing out and just jumping on the first girl or woman that gives you attention and throwing your life like many of us do. I wouldn't go so far as to say I did that, but there was a point in my marriage before I got divorced where I literally thought in my mind, like, well, I'm not going to get divorced. I'm not going to cheat because I don't do that. So I'm just thinking, well, I guess I'm going to have to find a way to be happy while being miserable. And I really thought that. I figured I got to just, this is it. Like, this is just, I should be lucky to have a wife at all, I guess, type of thing. That's how low of an opinion I had of myself. And now that I'm looking back, as time went on, you know, the marriage just, it got worse because my ex was probably thinking the same exact thing I was. So as we split apart and as I was on my own and became my own guy and was, you know, alone, as they say, being alone was the best thing ever for me. It made me rediscover what's important. It made me really be self-dependent. And it gave me a second chance. It was beautiful. I have this second chance with all the knowledge I have. I got divorced. I was 39, which looking back is beautiful. I mean, whatever, even if it's later in life, if you're not happy, guys, get out. I know it sounds crazy. Everyone says I'll never get divorced. Everyone says that. Look at the numbers. The numbers do not lie, unfortunately. I said the same thing. I'm not going to get divorced, not me. These things happen, and our culture does force people, and I think our culture scares, I think predominantly more even men. It scares men into thinking, you know, that high school sweetheart, grab onto her and hang on to her and be lucky. Guys, you could be picky, and being alone is powerful. Being alone is so powerful. So as an old head, I guess I'm a new old head. I'm 45, but I'm still an old head. As an old head, I'm telling you guys, do not throw your life away and do not give all of your power away to any woman. It's not how it should work. And the same thing for the ladies. Don't just throw away yourself for some guy. Like, you have to maintain your power and your happiness in life and know that there are 8 billion people in this world. And all you need is you. You are all that you need. And as you are alone, you'll discover that. And then anything that comes into your life needs to be added and a plus, not something that's going to pull you away. And now you're chasing some, you know, some woman and who's hanging in bars or is a bartender or this and that in trouble. You do not want that. I don't care how gorgeous. Trust me, I've been there. I've said some of the same dumb things that you guys are thinking right now. And I hope that this old guy in an Iron Maiden t-shirt Here's some other t-shirts to look out for. If you see a guy in a Rush t-shirt, that's going to be good advice. You listen to a guy in a Beatles shirt, sound advice. These are ones. Van Halen shirt, yes. Kiss, you got to be careful with the guys with Kiss t-shirts. You just got to read out the situation, because some of them guys are in fantasy land, and I love Kiss too. Be careful with the Kiss t-shirts. And Skinner too. The Skinner guy, I love Skinner, but the guys with the Skinner t-shirts, those Easy Top t-shirts, they might get you in jail, so be careful. They ride rough. So that's all I got. That's all I got for you tonight. Guys, I struggle just like everyone else, and I have to pick myself up too, like today. I was struggling to make this video. I'm thinking, who's going to watch this? Is this even valuable? But I kept saying, no, you owe it to yourself, Jay. If nobody watches it, I already got a bunch of videos that no one watches. And I know they're going to get better every time. And even doing this rep is going to make me better and keep me on schedule. It ain't about me. It's about us. All right. Be good. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll do some playing tomorrow. I'll give you guys a little treat. Little treat. And in the last video, I do some playing at the end. The David Lee Roth video. If you want to hear me doing some playing, check that out. All right, guys. Be well.